Let's talk about the pantheons of gods in Magic the Gathering. So this is another TikTok user request, and it follows on nicely with what I'd already been talking about with the gods of Kaldheim. Now, to be clear, god can mean a lot of things in Magic parlance. Like, a lot of old school planeswalkers were considered gods in different places. So here I'm very specifically talking about the god creature type. Not all planes have gods like this. For instance, Kamigawa has the Kami. A lot of places just have angels, things like that. But again, we're just talking about gods here. So on Theros, there is a enchantment native to the world, as far as we know, called Nyx. It manifests in like the night sky, and it gathers the collective of unconscious of the people of the plane. And so the gods form from what people think the gods are. Nyx actually spawned the Titans first, like Kroxa, the Titan of Death's Hunger, and all of these were sort of primeval fears of mortals. It's like death, fire, nature, that kind of thing. Then more esoteric gods formed. The first two were Krufix, god of the horizons, and Klothys, god of destiny. Basically, people thinking of the unknown and thinking of fate. And then the more concrete gods formed, the god of the sun, the god of the sea, all that stuff. But they're not static even once they formed. It is heavily implied that Heliod was not always the god of the sun, or the god of the sun was not always Heliod, one or the other. This is sort of cheekily referenced in a Valentine's Day Secret Lair drop where Heliod is dressed up as the god of love. Now, because this was a top-down Greek setting, it had to have gods, obviously. So this is what sort of broke the gate on transitioning from everything being like an avatar, like a projection of a god, to being the god itself. Now, on Amonkhet, the gods are formed from ley lines, and when they die, they leave behind a physical body, but their power returns to the ley lines. Before Nicol came, there were more gods. Afterwards, there were 5 uncorrupted gods, 3 gods twisted by Bolas. The remains of these have formed what are called the Chitin Court. The only non-insect god to survive the Hour of Devastation was Hazaret. But since Aetherdrift, we've seen 2 new gods form. One is Ketramos, who is, from the name, is literally the son of Oketra. Not like biologically, but sort of spiritually. And Sebsunin, who is like an embodiment of the life of the Luxa. Now, whereas the Theros god can shapeshift, transform, fly anywhere they want to go, appear wherever they want to appear, the Amonkhet gods are bound by mortal constraints. They are large, they're like 2-3 stories tall, but they are mortal, more or less. They can be killed by mortal means. They're just supremely powerful figures. They have like an aura that gives off their like nature to people. So the like Oketra had a very calming aura that brought everyone peace. They're all a little bit psychic, and they can speak directly into your mind, and they know you as soon as you're around them. You get even more mortal with Kaldheim. And again, Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology, and Norse mythology, obviously all of these are going to need god equivalents. So the gods we meet on Kaldheim, I talked about a lot already, but they are mortals who have been ascended to godhood through the Cosmos Elixir. And then we get to Mesoamerican, or specifically like Aztec mythology, and we get Kimel, the inner sun, who is a dormant mother goddess of all the other gods that we encounter. Oher-Tak is one of them, and Oher-Tak seems to be the inspiration for the Sun Empire's threefold sun. You notice she has like 3 faces. So it's a little bit of Oher-Tak and a little bit of Kimel in their faith up on the surface. It all gets sort of mixed up as time goes on. But anyway, Kimel spawned the 4 gods of the core. And of course, Aklazatz, who is the last being from the last version of the universe, following on Aztec mythology. He sort of kills one of the 5 gods and takes his place as like this god of death. And the one that is killed, we see on the Ancient One, it's literally a spirit god. Now, these gods, they aren't ley lines, they aren't created from enchantment, they're literally spawned from a greater god. That's sort of a core element of the plane. That wasn't an intentional pun, but it was a good one. The last pantheon I want to bring up is the Utmunger, which are the Gruul gods pantheon. We've known the name for a long time, but in War of the Spark, we got the Boar god, which was sort of their end times god. But then when we returned, we got another one of their gods. So I think it's kind of cute that they're giving us all these different like animal gods of the Gruul, and that they are all real and finally manifesting. One last note, the only plane that has creature type god that I haven't mentioned yet is Dominaria. Now, Dominaria doesn't have a specific pantheon of gods, but because Dominaria was the setting for Magic for like 10 to 15 years, and there was a lot of stories told there were a lot of gods invented for Dominaria. We just haven't seen a lot of them become cards. Svelun is the merfolk goddess, god of like the moon and the sky and the water. But there are a lot of like equivalent gods that I could very easily see becoming cards like this. Let me know what you want to cover next in the comments.